part 2. I gave up on sugar beet harvesting. For now, anyways. I think we've seen enough of that. This is my forestry equipment right here. Oh, plus the chainsaw. Vroom vroom. That's what I'm gonna be doing next. Well, after I get it clean. So, after almost getting a concussion, I went back to work on corn, and that's it's the not as boring, but it's a different kind of boring. Okay, why in the world does this never work? I have to disconnect it from the tractor. Oh, see, it was washing the tractor. If I disconnect it from the tractor, then it works. See, there we go. So, hold on, gotta reset my timer to help me keep track of how long this is. So, I worked on day shift all through Peas, and I was hoping I got more seniority this year. I won't have to go to night shift. I go to night shift about midway through corn season, and I was on and off night shift. You've got to be kidding me. I'm. This is hooey, I say. This is hooey. Get clean, dang it! It took me like, I don't know, not very long to get this thing very dirty. Maybe that's why it's not getting clean. Maybe the weights seem to only get dirty or clean from a certain angle. You gotta find the right angle. Oh my goodness. This is frustrating. So anyways, I on night shift, more of my friends from last year in Peas were there, because I hung out with the low seniority guys. But, so I had fun on night shift, despite the fact of me not getting much sleep. And, well, now it's getting clean. Just have to disassemble it. Yeah. Anyways. We were pretty close to the plant, so we would each make anywhere from 6 to 9 runs a night. And it started raining really hard one night, and the fields were just getting muddier and muddier. I mean, it's sand fields, but they turn into mud pretty quick when it rains. You gotta be kidding me! Get clean! Just gotta find the right angle. And it'll clean itself. Got it? Can't tell. Yeah, it's getting cleaner. Right? Just my imagination? Wouldn't be the first time. I'd be seeing things. Oh, you gotta be kidding me! Ugh. You know what? I'll be back after I'm done cleaning this thing. I got it somewhat cleaner, but I've had it. I've had it. I got the rest of it clean, so whatever. I'm going to do some logging. Oh my goodness, it's just why? Anywho, what was I saying? Something about corn. Okay, it rained so hard, and I get the unlucky pick of the Leprechaun. This is a green truck. All the other trucks were white. This truck is green. It was an old International Eagle. I love the thing. I drove it from the rental place, and it had a bulldozer engine in it. It was this cat, and it was heavy because the truck drove with the nose down. Out of my way. Out of my way! Am I supposed to signal here? Excuse me. Got things I need to do. Hit the brakes. So, forgot to stop my watch. What happened? What am I talking about? Oh yeah. So, raining really hard, and we're in this field that kind of has a hill on it, and I got the Leprechaun, and I'm driving through the field, and the field supervisor guy, he had just called the scale house and said, tell the truck drivers to stop at the pivot, the sprinklers, before they enter the field. I did not know this because he had called and said that. I'm pretty sure this is how it happened, but he said that after I'd already left, and so I go past the pivot, and he calls me on the radio and says, turn around and wait at the end of the field. And because this truck drives nose down, its front tires dig holes whenever you turn. And when it was really rainy and muddy, and my back tire starts slipping everywhere, and I dig myself a nice hole, and I just get settled in into the mud, almost up to my axles. And I'm watching one of the other truck drivers. He's driving out, and he had already gotten stuck a few times that night. And they had to pull him out of the mud, I think 3 times before they just dragged him all the way out to the road. And it was horrible. And when they pull me out, get me loaded, and then we finally finish up that field, we go to this new field. And the scale house lady says, when you get into the field, just gun it. and we were supposed to go into the field, and then we would get to the pivot, because we come down the pivot road towards the middle of the field, get to the pivot, turn right, turn around, get loaded, then get out. At least that was the idea. Chopping down trees. Timber! I love the new physics engine on this game. No, stop rolling. Stop rolling. Ugh. It's in the road now. Wonderful. De-limiting it now. Oh, and I'm using my Xbox controller. I finally got an adapter for the computer for this. I find it a lot easier using that crane there with the Xbox controller. Okay. This is a pretty good source of income, too. You get a lot. What was I saying? What was I saying? What was I saying? Oh, yes. So I get into the field. I'm the second truck, I believe. And I knew I was going to get stuck. The field people knew I was going to get stuck. And darn it, you have to switch to this thing before you can control it. And I'm getting loaded. The supervisor comes up to me, gives me my ticket, and says, Luke, just step on the throttle. Grab as many gears as you can and get through that corner. And I was loaded pretty heavy. I noticed in the back of my trailer, it was loaded all the way to the top of corn. And I said, okay. And and I get back in my truck. This is I don't have the Leprechaun anymore. I have a good truck. And well, I'm not saying the Leprechaun isn't good, but I had a newer truck. And Darn it. I wanted that. I didn't want to switch vehicles. Let me get on the other side. And so I get my my truck moving, and the worst spot was the corner where we were all turning at the pivot, and I just mashed down on the throttle, and I think I get into 5th gear, and my truck goes through the corner just fine. And I'm like, yes, I'm home free. I mash on the throttle. My trailer tires get stuck in the mud. I almost go through the windshield, but I had my seatbelt on. and I was going like 20, I think. No, it was probably 15. And then I just come to a dead stop. And then after that, well, they pulled me out, and I forgot to grab it. Why is it? Oh, that's nice of the game to keep it up in the air so I don't have to pick it up and off the ground. Watch it fall as soon as I try to grab it. No, I knew that was gonna happen. Darn it. That's not funny. That's not funny at all. Whoa, lag. Why is it lagging? I picked up all the wood, didn't I? No, darn it, I did it again. No, grab the tree before you cut it. That way you don't pick it up off the ground. Huh. So, they started loading the trailers in the back only half full, so you didn't have as much weight on the trailer tires. And of course, I had to be the guinea pig where they loaded all the way up to the top. But pretty much all of night shift, I was the guinea pig. Anyways, things didn't really start getting interesting until carrots started. That's when things really was crazy. Oh wait, but I'm not even there yet. I gotta talk about lima beans. So because I had been switching back and forth from day shift to night shift, I had I had 2 alarms on my phone set. One for day shift, one for night shift. I was supposed to be on day shift. I had worked, I think, I was on lima beans already, and that's only day shift. I think I worked, it was something ridiculous, like 14 or 15 hours straight, and I was tired. I did not realize what alarm I was setting. I was setting my night shift alarm. I wake up in the morning around 8:15 when I'm supposed to be at work at like 7:45, and it's a call from the HR office. They're like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "Well, it's not like that. They're nice. They're nice ladies." Oh, I already sold all my barley. Dang it. Anyways, I'm an idiot. Why? Why do I keep dropping the logs? I mean, last night I was doing this and it was seamless. I would load up like 2 or 3 trees in the trailer here. It would take me about 20 minutes to do that because I had it down, and then now I can't even barely do one. That's what I get for telling stories. What was I saying now? Ah, darn it. Okay, yeah. So, and I'm freaking out because when I get called, when I get woken up by my phone in the mornings, okay. Well, this is my worst fear, basically being late for work, and and I'm freaking out. I'm pretty sure she could tell I was freaking out. She's like, "It's okay, just get here as soon as you can." And I said, "Okay, I'm on my way." I get there about 20 minutes later, and I get there just as the 8:45 guy is getting there. because we were spaced out an hour, I believe. And this guy I had done lima beans with the last year, um, and he was pulling his truck up to the fuel station, and I had that truck yesterday. I think that, or the day before, and I told him the gas gauge doesn't work in here. You might not have to fill it up. And I get in my truck. I'm doing my pre-trip, and I'm pulling out to get to the lima bean field, and I see this green geyser happening at the fuel station. And I thought, that's kind of weird. It later happened. I later found out that he had been looking into the fuel tank because of what I said, and because he was trying to see where the fuel was at, and he ended up getting some of it in his mouth or something, and then he covered himself, and he went home after that, and his truck sat there. Anyways, I get out to the field, I think. Let me see here. No, I don't get out to the field. No. Something else happened. I go out to the field. I'm going out to the field. I'm driving on the freeway. I'm driving up this hill, and I notice... I'm just going to sell these logs. I'm not going to try loading up another tree. That one's big enough where I don't really need to. I'm pulling up this hill, and I notice smoke, or this kind of blue smoke coming from out of my right hand mirror, and I'm like, that's weird. I start looking around in all my mirrors, and then I turn around behind me. Now these are day cabs, so they have windows in the back, so I could see perfectly to my back tires. My passenger side front driver is smoking. I'm like, oh crap, I have a tire fire. I pull over really fast. I hop out the passenger side. I look at it, and it's not the tire, it's the brake pad. And I'm like, oh crap. I jump back in the truck, release my truck's parking brake, because if you leave a hot brake pad applied, it will get stuck to the wheel, and it won't release anymore. And I remembered that from my training. And so I sit there about 15 minutes trying to get hold of someone at the scale house, but no one's answering. And so after about 15 minutes, it cools down and it stops smoking. Oh, I got 85,000. Would you unload, you dumb tractor? I got it. Oh, there it goes. Sometimes you just have to shake it a little bit. Okay, now then you get money for unloading the logs, then you send the train off, and you get even more money. And I get back in my truck. I drive down. I knew there was an exit not too far, so I drive about 45 down to the exit, and it started smoking again. So I knew there was a parking lot on this exit, so I park in the parking lot. And I finally get a hold of someone at the scale house. They call the boss. The boss comes down from the cornfield, which was right next to that exit, and me and him play around with it for a bit. He tells me to apply and release the brakes. They were automatic slack adjusters, and from what happened, I think what happened was that was grammatically correct. I think I'm going to get rid of some of these stumps real quick. I think the automatic slack adjuster was broken, so every time the brakes were applied, it adjusted the brakes tighter instead of keeping them where they should have been. And so it ends up the brakes getting locked. And the boss, he says, "Luke, just unhook the trailer. We'll figure this out later." He took me back to the plant where one of the mechanics was trying to get one of their old trucks started, and he cannot get it started. He tried to jump start it with his pickup truck. We spent a while on it, and so I ended up taking the guy who went home, Canuto, took his truck out. I unhooked his truck, and then I took that out to get my trailer. And wee, chop it up. I drive back and grab my trailer. I head out to the lima bean field. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's not what happened. As me and the boss are driving back, I see one of our other lima bean drivers driving out to the field. What? Come on. No. Oh, okay, there we go. If I go like this. Go. Some of these tree stumps won't disappear all the way. Kind of weird. Guess you just have to have the back of it. Like that. So oh man, I see him driving out to the field, and I knew he was going to beat me there. And then I ended up getting my trailer back, and I drive out to the lima bean field with Canuto's truck and my trailer. Oh, and me and the mechanic, once we got back out, I took the mechanic with me to my old truck, and come on, just chop it up. It's a tree stump, not the Eiffel Tower. Right? Anyways, I get there. There is no sign of the guy. He had gotten lost. Because, I don't know how. I mean, the roads are pretty clear in that town that we were going to. Wow, this tree stump is indestructible. It's indestructible, I say. This is ridiculous. You gotta be kidding me. Oh wait, I can do that. Hey, there it goes. Okay. I don't think it's safe to drive around with that thing on. Oh well. So I get to field, get loaded, get out, just as that field supervisor is going to go find him in the pickup truck. And he brings them back just as I'm leaving because everything was full pretty much. So I got in and out of there in like half an hour, which is really fast for lima beans. Because they use the same harvesters that they have for peas. They just have different headers on them. And I wish they would have had viners in this game, because then, that would just add more stuff you could do. Anyways, I get back to the plant, and I'm on the scale, and I look. I'm giving my paperwork to the scale house lady, and I notice that there's a really weird colored mud on my have to save the game. There's a really weird colored mud on my passenger side driver wheel. I don't remember if it was the back or the front one. And I'm thinking that is really weird. And then I thought, I wonder if the oil hub seal broke. And I go park my truck at the bins to unload, and the plant supervisor guy for the swing shift comes over to me. He's like, Luke, this truck is done. It is toast. It is kaput. And I say, what are you talking about? And he said, I could smell you coming down the road. Your hub seal's broken. I'm like, oh crap. And there was still oil leaking out of it, so it happened near the plant. It wasn't like that the whole way. Otherwise, I would have been sitting right on fire. So the the one of the head mechanic. Oh, you gotta be kidding me! What? Why? Now when I'm recording videos, there's great demands everywhere. That's the most great demands I've ever seen. And, oh, you gotta be kidding me! There we go. No, wait. It's still there! There we go. So, if I was ever late again, I'm pretty sure the world would end. And, and they still couldn't get that dumb truck started. So I broke I had 3 broken trucks in one day. So now the next day, they are out of 2 trucks because the one that I had, the slack adjuster, was still broken. They didn't fix the hub seal till like a month later, and they couldn't get the old one's lights to work. Wait, no. I get in the truck. I started doing my pre-trip, and the mechanic boss and one of the other truck drivers, they're hooking. I thought to myself, how many people does it take to hook up one trailer? And they're bringing back the one that had the broken slack adjuster, and they're hooking it up, and I turn on the lights, and I'm doing my pre-trip, and I say, hey, my lights don't work, to the boss. And he's like, oh, he's just like, well, Luke's bringing me another broken truck. And because this seems to happen a lot. And he takes apart the dashboard. He spends an hour on it, and then Canuto comes and he sees him coming, and he says, Luke, start checking out the other truck. So I get the new truck again, and because the one with the broken slack adjuster, I drove that from the other rental place, and it had less than 1,000 miles on it. And it was everyone's favorite truck because it actually had more power than the rest of them. They must have forgotten to turn it down or something. Oh boy, this is boring. Yeah, so I was never late again. Last year, I don't think I was ever too late. But anyways, this year I was late once, and things just kept breaking. And the next set of stories is carrots, and I will continue that in part 3.